The first thing I remember seeing from the dream was a crack in a wall, and there were a bunch of bottles hanging from it. They were hooked, the bottles were hooked onto the rope, and inside the bottles there was a whole community of ant-sized people who had built ant-sized houses and were living there and greeting their neighbors in the next bottle. And this lasted just a bit, and then we were somewhere in the sand under a trap thing, and it was probably just a plastic bag. The few people I could see around were panicked, and helicopters with regular-sized people were looking for us. They had guns and were wearing camo and were looking for the tiny people, and I decided to make a run for it. I was the father, and when running away from there I had taken a pill that made me bigger. There were 2 pills available at a time, one that made a tiny person bigger for a limited time, and another that could do so permanently. I was carrying in my hand my tiny-sized daughter, who was unconscious, and trying to get away from there as quickly as possible. I passed through the forest that had huge pinecone-looking fruits folding back up into a seashell shape. Water accumulated into them, and some magenta mother of pearl had formed on the fruits. I saw my ex-wife in that forest and mother of my daughter. She had taken a temporary pill as well, but just for the purpose of moving to a different spot in the forest. She was proud to be an ant-sized person. I made my way into a regular-sized city and went into a mall to find something to carry my daughter in. I found a makeup box and put her in it. It would make it easier to carry her around. On my way out, there was a woman preaching to people against the ant-sized people. When leaving the mall, I met 2 bums who helped me to find a ride back to our home in the bottles. They were also ant-sized people who had taken the pill that temporarily makes them bigger. I stopped being the father and was the daughter instead. It was a very uncomfortable car ride. He had given me a pill that made me temporarily bigger, but the people who were driving us seemed not to trust us, and I did not trust them, and was worried that they could tell we were tiny people. I was convinced they would tell on us. Once we got back home and they left, I tried to tell my father that we should leave right away. That those people in the car probably would tell on us. We were standing in our kitchen with a large crack on the wall. I remembered we had not always been tiny people, that this was our kitchen when we were regular-sized people, and we lived here with my mother. I remembered that after quite some time living as tiny people in our bottles, the crack in the wall had gotten bigger and all the bottle houses fell. I was looking at a pretty plate in the kitchen that my mother really liked back when we lived here, hoping to take it with us when running away. I was panicked and my dad was really not, even though I kept yelling that we had to go because soon they would find us. Instead of getting ready to leave, he was just sitting in the kitchen, eating some dried meats and not panicked at all. I kept trying to convince him to go, but he would not listen, and just tell me that it was all good and that there was nothing to worry about, and I thought that maybe the pill he had given me was permanent.